AGN would like to thank our sponsor, Wirecast. Wirecast software lets you produce professional-looking live events with just a camera, an internet connection, and a computer. Stream or record live internet shows, broadcast breaking news or sporting events, stream live concerts, transmit church services, corporate meetings, lectures, and much more. Wirecast, your webcasting presentation solution.
Welcome to Araxis Global Network, the premier voice of objective reporting, covering the events that affect your world, your life, and your PlanetSide 2 news and information. We cover what it means to be a PlanetSide 2 fan. You love the game, you will love the AGN. We are your #1 source of all things PlanetSide 2, featuring spot-on and up-to-date updates. Yes, we said up-to-date updates that will promise to whet your appetite for PlanetSide 2 news. Will you find cutting-edge information as well as breaking news screenshots on AGN? Does a pole dancer have thighs that can crush your head? Yes! And now, introducing your distinguished hosts, your friends and fellow PlanetSide 2 groupies, Hamma and Marsman.
Hello everyone, this is Hamma here. Welcome to another Araxis Global Network show. We have a developer roundtable going on here tonight. We have Matt Higby joining us here shortly, and it's going to be a great show. We're going to be action-packed, and I'm joined here as well by Jennyboo.
Hi everybody. Keeping an eye on the Twitch chat and the IRC chat, so if you have any questions for Higby, no guarantee they'll get answered, but I will try to ask as many as possible.
Awesome, awesome. So, this is our first dev roundtable chat. Since the NDA has now been lifted, we can do things kind of a little bit differently here on the show. So it should be a lot of fun to kind of see what types of things we can talk about and see where we go with this. And it'll be a lot of fun. So I just want to talk just a couple minutes about a couple of things that are going on now in the community. There's been just an amazing uptick of streams and things like that going on now that the NDA has been lifted, and it's been awesome to see that stuff. I'm sure the devs are thrilled to finally see their game getting played online and actually tune into some of these streams and see what people are up to. So it's been a blast watching them myself and doing some of them as well. So it's great to see, and it's obvious that this game is going to be a lot of fun to be a part of, with thousands of people tuning into various PlanetSide 2 streams almost every night of the week. So. I also wanted to give a shout out to LaPerza for doing an awesome job last night on the first PlanetSide 2 Ops night. I was fortunate enough to be a part of it along with Jennyboo. Our outfit was actually highlighted, and we were able to have her in bed with us and kind of take part in our missions as we did missions for the Terran Republic and took bases and towers and pushed the front lines and all sorts of fun stuff.
She said she felt dirty.
Yes, she did.
She's like, I gotta go after this and play VS for a couple hours, get that stank off me.
I know, right? Well, she played a good TR, so she was a very useful part of our squad, and we were glad to have her. And
anytime she wants to be a proud driver for us, she's more than welcome. Anytime, she's welcome. So another thing I wanted to quickly touch on as well is those of you who are going to SOE Live this year, or even if you are not going, I am happy to announce that we will be offering a 10% discount off of SOE Live registration. This will go for folks who have already registered and those who have not. More details on that will be coming up very soon, but we are moving closer to being able to finalize that. We'll definitely have it in place in the next week or two so that you guys can start so how does that work? Is that a registered PSU member?
Yeah, so registered PSU members will be able to register for a discount. There'll be some other benefits to it as well that have not been finalized as of yet. But there's going to be some cool things going on out at SOE Live in just over a month out in Vegas. So we're looking forward to being a part of that.
Come on out, everybody. We're going to be there, and Higby's going to be there, and all the team is going to be there. And we're going to try to hopefully do a show from there.
That is the plan.
Maybe we can get you on camera.
Yes, indeed. If you're going to be there, you're a member of the community, there's a pretty good chance you'll be able to get on the AGN and take part in one of our live shows. Our first ever live remote show. So we'll see how that goes, considering all the technical difficulties we have just here. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right in. And we were going to be joined by Matt Higby here tonight, but it appears that he's taking a vacation, and will no longer be joining us. He's apparently gone fishing. So I didn't know he was a fisherman, but apparently he is. That's awesome.
All right.
No, that was fun. I like that. That was cool.
You wanna go fishing?
Sure, why not?
Let's go. That'll be fun. Now I need to align this whole thing. Oh God, what a stupid idea.
Yep. You look fine.
It could have this.
Looks good.
Okay. Well, I want to look this way. Do I look dignified if I face this way? Like.
You do. You look very dignified.
All right, good. As long as I look dignified.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks for joining the show again. It's good to have you back on.
Yeah.
In kind of a community format. This should be fun.
Also, shout out to the team. I mean, congrats to your team. The beta's been wonderful so far. I think you're getting lots of good feedback.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's been really, really cool.
It's finally here.
Super excited to see all the feedback, see all the cool videos and funny stuff that people have been posting. We have a whole mailing list that's just filled with, check out this video. Oh my God, this one's really cool. Or, oh, this is my favorite one I've seen so far. That's awesome. That's really fun.
Have you guys found any new bugs through the videos?
Well, there's lots of videos that actually are showing, like they made a video just to show off their bug.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few of those.
I mean, we see a lot of those.
Nice.
For sure.
Awesome.
Nothing better than a visually showing instead of doing the bug in game.
Right. You can just show the YouTube video to you guys.
Send it to one of your random emails. What is it, fan spam that you do?
Yeah, of sending bugs to it.
Spam's just for fan art.
I know.
Send your fan art to fan spam.
Yeah, don't send bugs there.
Yeah,
that would be bad.
Don't do that, guys. But if you have art, send it there. They're looking for it.
Send us your art. Give us your art. We'll put it on the command center.
Indeed.
If you want it to be associated with the command center.
The live show you guys did went pretty well. I was watching that. You guys did a good job with that, so it was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's always weird having somebody talking in your ears though while you're trying to talk or do something. I noticed you guys were having some trouble with that. I do as well. So not that anybody else is.
They cut in really loud all of a sudden. They're like, 30 seconds till so and so, and you're just like. What's that?
My ears are bleeding.
Yeah. It's scary.
All right, let's go ahead and jump right in and do some topics. We have a couple things on the list here, and we also have some community guests with us as well that'll be kind of joining in. But I was wondering if, to start off, you could talk about kind of some of the hot topics and the hot things that you guys have going on right now in the beta.
Man, there's lots of stuff. I posted the other day over on the beta forums because someone was saying, hey, you guys shouldn't be working on this right now. You should be working on something else. I think it's really important for people to kind of remember that when we're working on any one thing, it's probably 3, maybe 4 people on the team that are working on it. With a team of over 100 people right now that's all working on fixing stuff and building stuff into the game. So we have just tons and tons of stuff that's being worked on by lots of different folks at any given time. I think the big stuff that we're working on right now, just to try to get finished, we have a lot of map enhancements that are going in on the UI side, a lot of certifications that are getting worked on. Basically, the entire combat team is working on implementation for certs and trying to get all of the new certs and specializations balanced. New weapons are coming online, new vehicle attachments are coming online. Tons of stuff, as well as just bug fixing and balance that needs to get done just based on stuff that we're seeing online. I mean, we just did a big patch. Every week we do a patch, but we just did a big patch that really changed the balance of air to ground. I think lots of people have kind of noticed that and commented about that.
Yes.
We knew that was going to be a pretty drastic difference between what was on beta for the last 3 weeks or so, which is basically just air vehicles were able to dominate with impunity for the most part, to now air vehicles feeling like they're kind of getting torn to pieces. And we knew that would be a pretty big swing. But the goal has always been to try to make it so that we do that swing, and then what we were going to do was limit the amount and availability of AA, which is what's coming with max changes that should be on in the next patch.
Cool.
Yeah, the max changes that are coming are really good. I'm excited to see how they affect everything. But we're also screwing with stuff like base capture methods, putting in new, all kinds of new capture mechanics. So yeah, just a huge amount of stuff is all kind of in progress at once.
So I guess might as well, that's one of the things I have on here. What are you guys going to be doing with the Max?
The plan right now for the Max is to take his AV weapon. His AV weapon right now is the one that we kind of think is kind of weak. We're going to buff it, but then we're going to make it so that you're not going to have the ability to just switch between max specs instantly. and getting a max is going to have some sort of cooldown and resource cost associated with it as well. So you won't be able to just say, okay, there's a bunch of infantry coming, everybody switch to dual cyclers. Oh, there's a bunch of airplanes flying in, everybody switch to flak. Which seems like what a lot of people are doing right now, is just instantly swapping between max specs to be able to do whatever they need to do. So we're going to make it so that you actually commit to what your max spec is. And as a trade-off to that, we're making it so that some of the specializations are a little bit more powerful. Like the AV right now is pretty whack. Yes. It's not that strong. But their AA is really good, and their anti-infantry is pretty solid. Really the goal with maxes, what we always wanted people to do was sort of, in a lot of cases, bring with them an AA and an AI weapon. So if they're going to attack a base, then they want to bring AA just to be able to take out aircraft, and they probably want to bring anti-infantry to be able to take out infantry. Because they were able to switch back and forth so quickly and so easily, everybody basically just doubled up on whatever they were fighting against right this instant. And hopefully by putting in a cooldown timer on getting a max and a resource cost on it so that you can't just go and get it again immediately, we'll cut that down, and it'll allow us to make them a little bit more powerful without just seeing nothing but maxes in the game, which is kind of a problem that we have going on right now.
Yeah, there are quite a few maxes around, and the AV one is definitely leaves a little bit to be desired most of the time. So
I'd rather spawn heavy assault.
Yeah, heavy assault is more worth it right now to spawn if you want to take out a vehicle than actually spawning a max. So it definitely needs some loving for sure.
Unless you're on top of it, I find, especially the TR one. But.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, those are the kind of things that we're trying to clean up, and we're in progress on it. I really think that the next patch, when we add in the max timers, is going to really start setting the stage for what the overall game balance is actually going to be like.
Right.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that affects
I think people want to see it, and they'll be very excited to try it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yep.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
Cool.
Done. All right.
Done.
It was good talking to you guys.
All right, we'll see you later. It was a good show. Oh, and he rolls
For everybody
out the screen.
who is in the IRC chat program, you need to join AGN channel, because I'm not taking questions from PSU channel.
Join the AGN channel if you can.
Too many channels to watch.
Yeah, we have a lot of things going on. Jen is watching all that stuff. All right. So let's see here. What's the next thing I had? So you guys have some changes coming. You guys have obviously put in territory adjacency recently. What are some of the changes that we're going to see coming? I know that that's kind of not the final thing. You guys were just kind of testing it out. So what are the things that you guys are working on for the territory system here on?
So one of the things that we're testing internally right now, and I think this is going to work really, really well, is the way that influence and tickets are acquired is going to get shifted around quite a bit. So right now, influence represents a bonus ticket amount that you automatically get towards capturing the base.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving it to influence being a rate limiter for ticket accumulation. So basically what happens is, if you have a lot of influence, you're earning tickets a lot faster. What that should mean is that, all things being equal, you have an even fight. If someone goes and captures some stuff around that base, it changes the urgency of capturing points within it, but it won't necessarily immediately affect who wins and who loses like it does right now. Currently you have, if you're 90% of the way towards capturing the base, and some enemy comes in and sweeps you out of there, and you have no control over the base at all, and they're starting to accumulate tons of tickets in there, and you can't fight back, then what you do is you just go try to capture some side piece of territory and get the bonus to flip over.
That happened to us today.
Yeah. Because those guys who are down there fighting have no say over whether they're going to win or whether they're going to lose when that happens.
Mm-hmm. That happened to us today, and I was like, damn it.
That was very frustrating.
If we had another squad, watching those side ones,
right,
this wouldn't be an issue.
But you can't be everywhere, so...
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, we really want to have that influence and that territory control matter for what's going on in the base. So by making it affect the rate at which you earn tickets, we feel like it'll be something where you'll be able to react to it, but it's not going to necessarily immediately make you win or lose. And the other cool thing of it will be, we'll probably be able to get rid of the strict adjacency rules. Now, we're not sure that we're going to get rid of the strict adjacency rules yet, because we really like the way that they're focusing the fights, but we might be able to get rid of that and make it so that if you guys want to, as an organized group, you can go drop behind enemy lines and start capturing a base. But because the influence on there is so strong, you won't be able to really lose any of the points. If you lose them even for a second, they're going to start gaining points back. way faster than you will because you have 0% influence. But the people who actually want to go and do sort of like backlines operations are going to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Be a pain in the side.
To be able to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Focus attention away from. I know the base that I'd be the warp gate I'd be next to is the NC.
Thanks.
Nice.
But basically, what it does is it just opens up a little more freedom. So you as a player have freedom to go try to do those things. It's going to be a lot harder for you to be able to pull it off, but it's still open. And then the random dude just flying around in a Mosquito or Scythe or whatever, who's just trying to go capture some stuff, is going to have a really rough time with it because if he captures one point in this base, the other points are just going to almost immediately start capping that base over anyway.
Right.
So, and by the time that his stuff actually starts ticking over and he might have the ability to win that base, anybody can come over and capture one point and be able to pull it back really quick.
Right.
Right. It should be interesting to see. I'm interested to see that testing.
Me too.
Tested out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's going to be really interesting. And right now it's going to be, a lot of just getting the numbers tuned properly, getting all that stuff to...
That's what beta's for.
Yeah, and props to you guys for trying like all sorts of stuff. Things have changed so much since Tech Test started that just the different things you guys have been trying. So it's good to try all that stuff and see how it affects everything.
Well, I mean, we do a lot of playtesting internally for mechanics to make sure things work, but we're finding more and more that internal playtests, when we have, 70 people who can log on for a half an hour, you can imagine that that's not super useful for figuring out how things are going to work in PlanetSide.
Right.
You're going to have a couple hundred people playing for 6 hours straight.
Well, that's why you have a true beta going on here.
Exactly. That's why you've got us to break
stuff.
Right.
That's why we need you guys.
I'll break it for you.
We like breaking things.
I'll break it.
You always do.
Yes.
Always do.
All right.
Sons of bitches.
We just want it to be perfect.
Yeah, indeed.
So you can make more money. That's our goal.
Sounds good to me.
So one of the things that we noticed changed in this last patch was that the base lockout and tower lockout timers have disappeared. Are those going to be making a return?
Yeah, we think that was just a bug.
Oh, okay.
We didn't really mean for those to go away.
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
I was like, why did they do that?
Whoops.
He's like, maybe they didn't intend to. I don't know.
I was like, this is horrible.
It's funny, too, because I saw all kinds of threads where people were like, these idiots, they got rid of that. How could they? And then other people were like, no, it's exactly what needed to happen.
Yes.
And we were just like,
I've noticed that as well.
I mean, to be honest, that's what I thought at first, but then I realized, maybe something's up,
Yeah. It did seem a little weird, especially since you guys didn't mention it, right? I mean, like, that's kind of a big change.
I think if anything was to change with that aspect, would be going more towards more time, not no time.
Right. It seems like it would have gone in the other direction before it went in this one. But
so
I mean,
it's a
to
bug.
me, I mean, I don't like the lockout timers very much. I just don't like them as a mechanic because it feels to like putting an end to having fun. But it does a really good job of solidifying the ending of the battle.
Right.
Which we do kind of need. We need you to have that feeling like, okay, we got this thing. Now we can move on to the next one. So on one hand, it's great because it kind of puts a period at the end of the battle. But on the other hand, I don't like the way that it more or less can stop you from having a really enjoyable time. If you're having a kick-ass time fighting over this area, it sucks that it can suddenly end because of their lockout tower.
Yep,
so
and
that's
plus...
something else that we're going to continue to play with, seeing if we really need it or not.
Right. And plus, you could end up there, like, all day as well if it doesn't...
Like, when we first started Tech Test, Zergvan,
as we call it.
Zergvan, as we call it.
Yeah.
Right, but if you're having an awesome time fighting there, if you're really enjoying the battle in Zervan, then what's the problem?
Right.
And if you don't like it, then there's probably other shit that you can go do too.
You're right. All right.
Yeah, I can see it from both sides.
That's why we test it.
Yep, indeed.
You guys make the final decision.
So, early on, well, I don't know if it was early on, but probably a few months ago or something like that, you had mentioned that there may be some type of cert or something like that to allow the driver of a main battle tank to allow their passenger to do the main gunner position. Is that something that you guys are still thinking about doing, or is that backburnered or gone forever, or do you hate us?
No, I don't hate you guys. It's something that we've talked about. In fact, Kevo and I were talking about it at PAX. Let me grab Kevo, actually, and let him talk about it a little bit. I always like getting the people who are in charge of this different shit to actually talk about stuff.
That would be cool.
Let me go grab him really quick, and he can come explain to you what his crazy thought process on
All right, that works for me. Cool.
And I can eat my sandwich. That'd be great.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt is going to eat a sandwich live on the air, so that will be an enjoyable thing for all of us. So Matt's currently going to get Kevmo to put him on the spot about the
and for everybody who doesn't know who Kevmo is,
I always can't word this well. Driver tank gunner is like what everybody says, but that doesn't make any sense. So it's just one of those things that really doesn't have a good name for it. But for those of you who don't know, the person who has the tank guns the main gun. What we had talked about, or what they had talked about in the past, was allowing the passenger to then take control of that main gun to allow the driver full control of the vehicle without having to worry about shooting a gun, which is how it was in PlanetSide 1. It's mixed reaction on that across the board in the community. I know that everybody's got a different opinion on it, but for the most part, former PlanetSide players, their opinion is that there should be some type of feature for that. So
ask these guys what they want to do.
Awesome.
All right, I got Kevmo. He's not happy about having to come in here and talk to you guys. He's on the fucking spot.
All we can see is your torso.
Explain yourself.
There we go.
So Matt can eat a sandwich.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, man.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Anytime. So
thanks for Matt for putting you on the spot.
Thanks for Matt dragging you in.
Yeah, I can blame Matt.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Minding his own business.
So what are your thoughts on that situation? I'm sure he filled you in on the way in, I hope.
Yeah, so on the dedicated tank driver stuff, honestly, it's one of those things that we talk about. It comes up pretty often, but every time the argument is pretty close for either method, and usually the driver also guns wins out just a little bit. And some of the reasons for that is the person pulling the vehicle has to spend the resources, so he should be able to have a gun. I'm trying to remember what the other ones are. It's been a while since we've had this discussion.
It sucks in the original game.
Having
to find the gunner all the time.
Yeah, having to find the gunner.
Well, have you guys talked about making an option for the driver?
Yeah, we've talked about that. There's a lot of different ways we've talked about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about doing it's a swap, and it's just that's it. It's just you change ownership or change control of the gun to the passenger. There's also talk of adding a third seat. So that means there's a driver dedicated, and then the gunner takes the primary cannon, and then the third seat's added, and he mans the secondary gun.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also we've also considered if you do that, you get a special type of gun so that it justifies having 3 people required for the tank. So
that's the one I like. See, I like that method.
But it's also making it an option is also the hardest option to do and to implement, because right now the loadout system does not like you being able to switch what a seat does. It kind of doesn't like that. So doing one or the other is easy. Doing both and supporting both is a much larger task.
Okay.
But that's the one I like.
Nice. The most complicated one.
The thing that's hard is the stupid mag rider. That's the one that's
that's also the one that screws us up.
Right.
We built that one to not have a fixed or a turret on the top.
That's true. That makes it very tricky in that case, for sure.
But then we could always just make it so that the mag rider doesn't have access to that. The mag rider doesn't get a dedicated gunner slot. It's just one of the trade-offs that they get for being able to be a Strafe Feed.
True.
Kick-ass tank.
Cool.
There's nothing wrong with having asymmetrical downs. It's just hard.
Awesome. Well, that was good. It was good to hear what you guys have talked about. I like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hearing that piece of feedback from people for like a year now.
Yeah.
Battle tanks. And I mean, it's something that we take really seriously. We don't just say, nah, screw it. We don't care about that. We're not going to do it. We have lots and lots of conversations about it. It's always, players really want to have this. I mean, can we figure out a way to do it and make it make sense? Can we figure out a way to do it and make it work within the game? And I think if there was an easy solution, if there was a way that we could have just been like, cool, we can turn this switch and it'll work suddenly, then we would have done it a long time ago. But all of the solutions require trade-offs that are complicated. All of them have non-trivial amounts of work that are associated with them.
What happens So the person buying it wants what if the person buying it wants the gun, doesn't want the draft? How do we arrange that? And then someone jumps in and drives their vehicle off a cliff, weird shit like that.
Yeah. And I mean, for us, I honestly think that team play is always one of the things that we want to encourage more than anything. If we can make something work better with team play, then we'll almost always do it.
Mm.
This is one case where I feel like we looked at what the trade-offs were to be able to allow that level of team play, and it was really hard to justify the trade-offs. Because the trade-offs were, I'm a brand new player jumping into this game for the very first time, and I like tanks. Maybe I'm a World of Tanks player. You know, I'm coming from that gigantic audience of World of Tanks players. I go up and I say, cool, this game supports tanks, I'm going to get a tank, and suddenly I can't do anything with that tank. I can't shoot the gun with it. That's a really frustrating feeling. Or having to figure out how to get some random person, when I'm first logging in, to jump in my tank. Now, granted, obviously, when it's later on and you've got Kevmo on Skype and you can be like, yo, Kevmo, jump in my tank and we're going to have a kick-ass time together, that team play aspect is huge. It's really, really fun. But for a new player jumping in for the first time, or for somebody who's not familiar with PlanetSide or the team play requirements of it, we just felt like the trade-off wasn't worth that big of a
right.
unintuitive experience when you first jump in and try to play with a tank.
Right, because it's totally not normal in any other game that's been out since PlanetSide, really.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why the thought of we could make it a really advanced tank cert. So somebody who's a dedicated tank player has access to get this cert that allows them to have a dedicated gunner. That way the people who are a little bit more involved in the game, a little bit more advanced of players, they're not that new player jumping in for the very first time who's going to stumble across this unintuitive thing. Maybe we put it there. We put it as something that you can unlock for the vehicle, and now you have a dedicated gunner. And now you have access to use the rail gun on top of your Vanguard instead of a regular gun, or the quad barrel Prowler turret, which is what we have on there.
So but again, that's also the more complicated route.
Exactly. And
we have to message that on the UI. We have to first get it to work in data. Right now, swapping any of those things in data doesn't work. It'd be a lot of code. It'd almost be basically creating a clone of the vehicle in data and then setting its other things differently.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work there, messaging the UI, knowing when to shortcut to the other vehicle. So it's a lot of work to support a duel.
Then all the variations of guns that you're going to have for customizing as well.
There's a lot going on there. It's very complicated.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely not something where it's like an impossible amount of work either. It's just that right now we're working on things that are like must-have. We have to have this, otherwise the game doesn't function properly.
Understood.
And it's sort of a question as to whether or not that piece of functionality is a must-have, or if that's something that we could add 6 months from now and it would just be cool then. You know, if we put a dedicated gunner slot on main battle tank 6 months from now,
or maybe we even just add a new tank, tank later on that is dedicated driver gunner and is harder to get to for some reason. Or that's also how I kind of want to do buggies when we do them, is drivers dedicated and they put a kick-ass weapon on the top and go to town.
I want a sidecar.
I can't wait till
ATV.
buggies come in. Buggies were one of my favorite things.
We all want buggy.
Those were awesome to drive around. So I guess unless you guys have more on this, if you guys have more on this, then we can keep on going. But one of the next things on is probably something that Kevmo will be able to comment on as well. So I might as well bring it up while he's here. Be perfect.
Okay, see you guys later.
All right, we'll see you. Thanks for being on the show. So one of the things that comes up constantly all the time is the AMS. And why is it not in the game? Is it coming back? You guys have said a million times what your thoughts are on that. But kind of, let's try and, my thought is to talk about it on here. Maybe we can get it out there and maybe people will finally stop asking about it. So what are the things that you guys are thinking about doing? I know that Sunder has been mentioned as being possibly making a spawn and stuff like that. So what are some of the things you guys are thinking about doing?
So from my perspective, the Galaxy is working as intended. Some people may not like that as much as the AMS or whatever, but or they'll make the argument that the AMS was better in PlanetSide 1 compared to the Galaxy. But I think the Galaxy is doing rather well. That doesn't mean an AMS is completely out of the question. Matt's going to probably make me put in the a Sunderer cert to allow the spawn. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure if it's going to be a positive thing to the game where we're just going to end up with thousands of spawn points everywhere.
That's also a good point. You know, Early on.
Kevin's such a Sunder hater. He hates the AMS.
Oh yeah.
Well, I also don't want the Sunder to like. We see those posts and even news articles about how people think Galaxy hot drops are now undervalued because it's a spawn point.
Nah.
But at the same time, that's going to happen to the Sunder. Like, I think the Sunder is already kind of performing pretty poorly as a transport. Kind of needs some more smash ability to run blockades and unload a lot of troops.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I would tend to agree with
Definitely, you will never see
Yeah.
that ever again, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Worse on the Galaxy.
early
At least
on.
the Galaxy has the advantage of a dropship, where the Sunder
Yep.
doesn't.
Right.
The Galaxy always has that.
We have a Galaxy up all the time when we're playing in our squad. There is forever a Galaxy up doing something. Early on in tech test, the Galaxy was not a viable spawn before you guys had the deployment and all that. But now I feel like it's getting closer to being viable because you can deploy
Did you guys notice in the last patch that collision doesn't damage it anymore?
Actually, I didn't notice that.
No, I
The
haven't.
number one
Wind
tactic
deployed.
of major outfits everywhere, which was
Yes.
Ramming into it with air vehicles.
Ramming into it or drop pod spam.
Drop pod into it and kill him.
Yeah.
When I'd be on beta, I remember there was a fight where there was 3 Galaxies and we're all attacking Banu Archives, I believe, and we're like zerging pretty good. It was fun, and then Galaxy kills the other Galaxy. I'm like, oh darn, that sucks. Oh well, let's keep going. And then the next Galaxy is killed by another Galaxy. And then the final Galaxy is killed by 2 drop pods in the Galaxy.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't
now
notice
they're
that yet.
Way more immune to collision.
We haven't had a situation so far since the patch where people have tried to do that to us that I recall. But it's definitely, I'm a Galaxy pilot. That's kind of like the thing that I do almost all the time in our squad. So I feel like it's way more viable now than it was originally. And I know that you guys have more.
Yeah.
I can't wait to try out Force Drop, to be quite honest with you. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
At first, I didn't. I wasn't a fan of it, but now that all the changes have gone in, and then you've added the more spawn points in the last patch, that's really been helpful as well. So, I mean, we'll see, guys. I mean,
Indeed.
I wasn't a believer in the Galaxy at first, but
Me either. Totally not.
you got to remember, PlanetSide 1 and PlanetSide 2, 2 different games.
Yeah, but there's valid tactics with. I mean, the Galaxy is an awesome vehicle right now. So props to you guys for.
And Hamma loves it.
What happened to the
because he's a
shield, by
gal
the way?
pilot.
The shields that were on the side of it disappeared. Are those gone forever, or is that just a bug?
Oh, that's probably a bug. No, they
Okay.
should.
They're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah. There's some other weird shit going on with it too right now. It's like wings get all like.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like it was a bird that got hit by a baseball
Yeah,
bat.
that's kind of
Oh, also, Kevmo, when you switch out drivers, like if someone in your squad switches their driver seat, it starts sinking.
Sinks into the ground.
Yeah.
That's a fun one too.
Yep.
There's a new one, yeah.
I'm not sure what causes it. It's like it's in quicksand.
That happens all the time when I world kit people. Because I run around the sanctuaries and world kit people that are just idling in their vehicles, and you'll see that the vehicle goes choop. And they're down,
Yeah, we had that a long
awesome.
time ago.
Yeah, I
in
remember
like the Alpha builds, but
yeah.
I guess it's back.
Yeah.
And
Things like that always come back, huh?
Well, I'll tell you guys what. Once you finally come around to the Galaxy being the ultimate logistical spawning vehicle tool, you can make a big shrine to Kevmo. You're the one who's been saying, no, the Galaxy's good enough. The Galaxy's good enough. We can make the Galaxy work.
we need a golden statue of
We can do that.
Kevmo in the center of like a continent somewhere.
It should be a hood ornament on the front of the
Kevmo
Galaxy.
just holding up a giant Galaxy. Like, the Galaxy.
Yes.
Stepping on the EMS.
Exactly.
Yes. Agreed. Oh man, but it is much better than it was before. So, all right, let's go ahead, and I got just a couple more before we bring in these guys, who I'm sure can't wait to come on and ask you some questions as well. So,
Man, I can't keep up with all your questions, guys. So
Yeah.
when we get to the open question portion, I'm going to ask you to re-ask them, and I'm not going to get to them all. So
no, we will not. We will definitely not get to them all. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and move on here. What do we have next? Oh, the Player Studio. We just heard about the Player Studio the other day,
super psyched.
which is really cool. What are some of the things in PlanetSide 2? I'm sure it's not finalized yet, but what are some of the things that you guys are planning on for PlanetSide 2 to be able to do with the Player Studio?
Well, I mean, I think we have a lot of opportunity to do a ton of really cool stuff with the Player Studio in PlanetSide 2. One of the things that we've always talked about wanting to do as a really long-term thing is add more sandbox features to the game, allow players to be able to pool resources together and build their own bases, or place towers on maps, things like that. I really love the idea of players being able to have additional ownership on things, and the ability for you to be able to craft your own items, build your own weapons, build your own vehicle attachments, hell, even make your own vehicles in the game, is awesome. It's really cool. And just the fact that players are going to be giving players the ability to help construct the worlds that they really enjoy being in, I think is just a great thing to do in general. So we don't have any really solid plans about how exactly we're going to implement that right now, but we're really looking forward to seeing what EQ, EQ2, Free Realms, what those guys learn.
Yep.
And then, being able to figure out how to give that tool set to our players and how to make it work best for PlanetSide 2.
Cool. Awesome. All right, the last thing that I have before we bring everybody else in is put you on the spot and ask you to tell us something that's awesome that's coming out in one of the future beta patches coming soon. Something neat, something we maybe is a mystery to us.
Something you might not know about yet?
Yeah, sure.
That won't get you in trouble, of course.
Something that
want to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
It's hard to know. It's hard to tell sometimes. Well, I mean, Estimator's going to be coming soon. That's going to be really cool. I'm super stoked about that. It'll be good to have a little bit of extra gameplay area.
Yep.
Here's something that's coming soon that I don't think that we've talked too much about at all, and it has to do with the way the bases get captured. So, you guys have seen some of the different alternative base capture layouts that we have. Like Zervan has a single capture point that functions like a PS1 command console more than what our other capture points were. You fight your way into the center, and then you defend that one, and then you win, right? So we're putting a lot of work into iterating in a variety of different ways towards different kinds of capture methods, especially with AMP stations. I think AMP stations are one place that we've been putting a lot of time into it, whereas the biolabs kind of work a little bit better with having the multiple capture points. AMP stations, we really want to have a solid central capture point. So one thing that we're adding to kind of make that be cooler is we're getting rid of the idea that we have these shield generators right now that you just go unload a bunch of bullets into to destroy them. And we're going to make that be more of an interaction where you actually plant an explosive on it, or you overload it, which is what it actually is. And you'll be able to see that these things have been overloaded as a defender, and you'll know, like, okay, I have to get there in 30 seconds and disarm this thing. So there should be a little bit more back and forth happening with the defense and attackers in these base capture events. So that's really cool. We're excited about that. And we're going to have to tune that quite a bit, obviously. We're also adding in the ability for you to see, like, if a base is being attacked on the map, be able to get status about something before it actually gets flipped. We're putting in a lot of different messaging on the map that lets you see that kind of thing, that really just helps solidify some of the overarching strategic gameplay that really right now doesn't have a whole lot of support in game mechanics. You just sort of have to communicate to be able to get it. We want to give more communication and feedback to players about what's happening on a worldwide level. So all those things are coming soon.
Awesome. I can't wait for exciting. I can't wait for the messaging to start happening so that as an outfit, we can say, hey, well, look, this so-and-so's base is being attacked right now. Let's get out there and help defend it. Whereas the only way right now is, the enemy has it.
Or there's a really big hotspot.
Or there's a really big hotspot, which doesn't always happen because, you don't really need a big, if nobody's paying attention, right, then you can go in there with a small squad and take over a base. So
yeah, one of the things that I was talking to the UI team about was ways for us to kind of put information in players' faces without it being right up in their face.
Right.
So right now we have that big thing that comes up in the middle of the screen right about here-ish, right?
Yep.
It goes, you have won, you or so-and-so has captured the base. And it's right in the middle of the screen, it's kind of annoying.
I don't even look at it 98% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, you basically just tune it out.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do was have, like, when a base gets captured, maybe it tells you who the top 3 MVP players were for that base capture event. Maybe it tells you what outfits were the top performing outfits who helped capture that base. Give you a reason to actually care about that thing. But also, we were talking about potentially doing something like having a little news sticker on the bottom of the screen that tells you things like such and such base is under attack, or what's it called has been captured by the new conglomerate, so-and-so has been captured by the Vanu Sovereignty. That thing could even tell you things like, hey, your buddy Hamma just hit battle rank 20. That's cool. I kind of want that information.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Like a news banner.
like a stock ticker of sorts.
Yeah, right, exactly. But the whole trick is, how do we put information in front of people without it being annoying information that is going to distract you from being able to play the game? Right. So having a little stream of text down at the bottom, I think we could probably make it be informative, but not necessarily distracting.
Then also make it customizable to make so you can size it yourself, and that way.
Yeah. And I can opt in for what kind of messages I want. Like, I want social messages
filter
on there.
it.
When my friend logs in, I want it. Or I want strategic things on there instead, you know?
Yeah, that would be really neat if you could go in there and filter it. And you know, it's colored, you know, for the Empire if you're monitoring certain things. So, yeah, that would be a really neat feature. And you could just toggle it off if you want.
Whether that lives on the HUD, does it live on the map screen, does that live just when you have the UI up, does it live when the respawn screen is up, is it all the time? Do you opt into it in one place or another? Like, how do we make it so that it's just not something that's irritating you with too much information?
Enable, disable.
Yeah.
You can have that feature, you know?
Cool. It needs to be disableable.
All right. You could prioritize the stuff you want to see, too. That'd be really neat.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, that's just sort of things that we've been talking about doing to try to fix some problems that we've definitely noticed through playing and also through beta feedback. So
cool. All right. Okay, that kind of gets through what I had for the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and bring in some of the community members we have on the show, starting with the ever-popular Basti, who we introduce first, always, and forever. And I feel like if we don't, then people will stop watching.
I want to see that smirk when you do it. That's why.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have Basti here again, joining us. I think everybody knows who Basti is, but go ahead and say hello and let us know what your topic is for Matt.
Well, Basti, long-time PlanetSide player since 2005 or 4 or whatever, I forgot. Vanu all the way.
I disagree, but that's okay.
For the topic, I think eSports. Yeah, I go with eSports.
Okay. You have specific questions about it, or just in general? Yeah. Okay.
Future plans and whatever.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and introduce everybody else first, and then let them say hello, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about that, if that works. That work? Works for me.
It's your show.
It is my show, after all. And that is what I have determined is going to occur. All right. Next up, we have Captain Insanio, who is joining us with the ever-popular headgear that he always has on. Something new and exciting this time that we haven't seen before. Anyway, go ahead and say hello.
Hey guys, good to be back on show. Great to be able to chat with Higby again. Got a little bit of chance to see out from the GDC. Great guy.
Very cool. Alrighty, and next up we also have Lunar Child joining us here. Go ahead and say hello.
Hello everyone, I'm Lunar Child from the Azure Twilight. Also Vanu. It's a bit of a purple colored show today.
Nice.
Stacked. This is stacked.
Yeah, I know, right? Figures it ended up that way. Hey, I tried.
Cool,
hey,
man.
I put out the word and for more people, and only VS responded. I don't know what that's all about.
They got nothing better to do, dude. They got nothing better to do.
We just conquered the world already.
Is that what happened?
We already won.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your first thought on esports there, Basti? You want to know future plans and so on? Is that what we said?
You have the floor.
Yeah. Woo! So Matt, tell me, what are your plans for esports and PlanetSide 2? At the beginning when I first heard of it, pre-beta, I was like, what does it have to do with PlanetSide? But now after I played it, it has to be in the game and it has to be friggin' big. Because that's what's driving PlanetSide 2 to the masses. Especially after seeing the tournaments at Gamescom, which just were extremely big. So, what are your ideas on esports? What are you planning?
Well, that's a good question. Hold on while I finish my sandwich.
Anytime. That's cool.
No, so I would say that right now our focus is 100% on getting the global warfare game finished. That's what we're working on. That's what we're planning on. We're making PlanetSide work as a massively multiplayer shooter. Later down the road, we've talked a lot about different things that we can do to make tournament modes, to make esports modes. I think that you can watch somebody streaming PlanetSide right now, and somebody streaming PlanetSide 2, and you can have a thoroughly entertaining gaming viewership experience by watching somebody play PlanetSide 2, by watching the organization, by watching the team play come out. You can have an incredibly entertaining experience doing that. Any of you guys who've watched anybody's streams, when they've got their TeamSpeak hooked up to it, you can see all the strategies developing, you can see these massive battles happening. It's kind of hard to deny that that's a compelling viewing experience, and that is the core of what makes esports work, is I want to watch a entertaining, competitive gaming experience, period. That's it. That's what esports is. So in that sense, I think that PlanetSide 2 already kind of works as an esport. It's just a completely different type of competitive environment. It doesn't have brackets or tournament stuff right now. So we've talked a lot about, in the future, being able to add those sort of elements to be able to kind of have a more codified and formalized tournament structure, to be able to have a more clear path or ladder towards who the top outfits are, the top players. And we have a lot of thoughts about ways to do that. But like I said, right now we're pretty much 100% focused on getting the PlanetSide gameplay to work. So while I think that there's a lot of exciting possibilities, especially with a game like PlanetSide that has, you know, an outfit with maybe 240 people in it, I can have that 240 20 squad outfit being able to fight against another 240 man 20 squad outfit in a tournament setting. That's really exciting. You could have that kind of large heavyweight outfit, or you could also have the smaller 12-man outfits that are doing things and accomplishing stuff on a more tactile or more tactical level. Mm-hmm. Both of those are totally viable competitive modes for PlanetSide, and I think they both showcase completely different and completely compelling content that either one could be really, really exciting to watch in a tournament or an esports setting. And PlanetSide really, because of the type of game it is, gives us access to be able to have and explore all those different things. So those are cool ideas that we have for in the future being able to have maybe different weight classes of outfits that compete against one another. And those outfits compete by playing PlanetSide. They actually compete by playing in the overworld game, not by going and playing in some queued PvP tournament mode. They go play the actual game, earn points that way, and get ranked on a ladder. And then eventually maybe they have tournaments based on that. And you could go watch the lightweight tournament, which is 12 people fighting against 12 people. Or you can watch middleweights, which is 64 fighting 64. Those are really just completely different, interesting possibilities for being able to have a competitive gaming experience. So,
yeah, I'll admit I was one of the ones early on when we heard about it that I was like, no, I'm sorry, but no, this isn't going to work. But seeing it, you know, kind of the way you guys have been showcasing it the past couple weeks with the observer mode and that stuff, it definitely is. It's definitely viable, and it's something interesting that people will definitely tune into. Especially once you guys improve that observer mode and be able to show people stats on the screen and, you know, stuff like that, when you can lock into a player and follow them around or things like that. And not necessarily everybody has that ability, but, you know, you're able to showcase it on a big stream and, you know, follow certain outfits around and do stuff. As long as it, you know, for me, as long as it doesn't mess with the game world as it is, I think it's awesome. And I definitely think it's viable now. I didn't think it was before.
That's really the key for me, is making sure that whatever we do, we make it so that it feeds back into the game world.
Right.
If we call like the actual PlanetSide game itself the world game, I always want to be able to reference back to the world game. I don't want it to be all the best players and all the best outfits are all off queued up for tournament gameplay all the time and they never participate in the world game. I want the world game to be integral to their success in tournaments. So if my ladder points and my standings and my ability to participate in tournaments are all based on my accomplishments throughout the year or throughout the season within the world game itself, I think it makes a lot of sense, because then it makes that world game elevated to a much more competitive level because people are taking it very seriously. Mm-hmm. And they're having to compete against a lot of crazy stuff, right? I mean, I have to fight against not only this other outfit that I'm dealing with, but I'm dealing with maybe 80, 90 people that are just random ads coming in and fighting in this battle with me. So my accomplishments are really legitimate towards the actual worldwide game that's happening, not just purely on, oh, my outfit's really good at fighting in tournaments. Mm-hmm. We have to be really good at fighting in the world game, in the actual PlanetSide game, and then we get a chance to go participate in tournaments. And some people might thrive in one and not the other. Some people will probably thrive in both. And I really think that as long as none of it is ever taking away fundamentally from the world game itself, then it's just an ad. It's just something cool that you can do as a competitive player to be able to get a little bit more bragging rights. And I've always said that MMOs in general kind of have two big promises that they need to fulfill to players, and one is competition and one is community. Most MMOs are awesome at community, and most MMOs do a shit job at competition. And I think that PlanetSide as an MMO has a incredible opportunity to elevate what competition in an MMO game could be. Because if I'm playing right next to a dude who I know is some superstar, basically, in the world of competitive PlanetSide 2, I feel really good about that battle. You know, if I know that this dude who's flying reavers up above me is the guy who just won gold in the tournament last night, that's rad. And that kind of feeling is uniquely something that you can experience in an MMO. You can't really go play StarCraft with some professional StarCraft player unless you're paying for lessons. But you can in PlanetSide. You could be fighting alongside these dudes who are basically heroes. And that's really aspirational. It feels cool from both sides of the equation, I think. And I don't know. It just seems like there's a really huge opportunity there, and I'm really excited about exploring it.
Awesome.
Well, what I would love to see is some kind of server mode where you have entire outfit alliances fighting each other. That would be basically the true big war.
That's the whole game, though. That's the world game, right? That's what should be happening as per usual.
Yes, but that not instead of just world game, also a tournament style where you find out what outfit alliance is actually the best outfit alliance of the whole fucking world.
Yeah. No, I mean, that just seems like an expansion upon sort of what I was talking about with the idea of having, you know, you have your monthly or yearly tournaments that people can participate in.
Right. You just queue it up and
really
say...
The cool thing about that is that you can actually have, oh, my TR outfit on server X is the best TR outfit, and you could be like, oh, hell no, my TR outfit on server Y is the best one. And having a tournament mode really lets you settle that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Anybody else have any thoughts or questions on this before we move on? Wow. Nobody.
They all want to ask their questions.
Yeah, they all have their own questions to ask. Well, but no, that was really good. That was a good explanation of where you guys want to take it. I really am looking forward to seeing some of the stuff that you guys do with, you know, kind of the observer type view of what's going on in the battlefield, and kind of really perfecting that in a way that it could be broadcast, you know, hey, you know, X and X a night, this is going to happen, and, you know, just have the two outfits go against each other in the world, you know, both going after the same objective, and, you know, see who wins it for that night. As long as you guys are operating on a delay. That's the big problem. That's the key, right? Because if you're not, I mean, I've seen what happens in a stream in PlanetSide 2 already if you're not on a delay. I was getting stream sniped constantly the first stream that I did. And once I got on a delay, it was actually something that we could do. Last night we were operating on a little bit of a delay, but not quite enough. So Luperza had about 65 people following her around everywhere we went.
It was a parade.
It was a parade. It was a parade of stalkers.
Scary.
But it was a little frightening. Okay, all right. Next up we have, we'll go with Captain Sanio. What topics do you have? What do you want to ask about?
Strafing, was a chance of a post actually being seen by the devs in the full beta forums. Extra cameras like rear view and below, because I constantly managed to land on rocks and other galaxies and managed to blow myself up. That's happened too many times. The UI tools, I know in midair, it's almost impossible as a lib to identify if I'm getting shot from below or from above, and basically, if I can't tell that, I have basically a 50-50 chance of being able to defend myself. The mission system, we haven't heard much of that. Do you have any idea when we're going to be getting to that? And finally, the app.
Wow, he's got a list?
Well, you asked us for a list ahead of time.
Yeah, no, that's all right. That's all right. A laundry list of items. No, that's okay. You'll probably have to bring them up one at a time so they can answer each other. All right, well, there he goes. He's gone. All right, folks, well, it's been a good show.
He's sinking away. Does that mean there's a question you don't want to answer?
Oh, man. Oh, he's back. He's a little frightened.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions, man.
Well, no, like, at the design meeting you guys broadcast, like, one of the questions that came up was, like, people were yelling strafing at you. But strafing, the issue with that is that when you're sprinting, your strafe speed does not increase than if you're normally running. And the reason that matters is because if you're sprinting somewhere and you're getting shot, ideally what you want to do is turn your head and look. But not all of us have like eye infinity and don't have independent head movements, because I don't think you game it. So what you want to do is you want to switch to strafe at your normal sprint speed and turn sideways so you can look to see if you're actually being shot at. And depending on what you see, react to it. Like normally in most FPSs, they will increase strafe speed when you are sprinting, and it tells dramatically that in PSE going out of that it really confines how you move.
I mean, that's something that we can kind of play around with a little bit, I think. We've talked about strafe speed, not only at that design meeting, but at other times too. One of the problems that we have that we mentioned at that design meeting was some of our acceleration and deceleration code needed some tuning. So we wanted to put those tuning values in and then see how people felt about it and whether it was still necessary for us to have a sort of sped up strafe speed. I'm not sure if you've played with it too much since the beta patch yesterday, or if it feels much better than it did before. But maybe take a look at that and see if you still feel like we need to have that.
Yeah, I'll definitely experiment with that. I only got like 2 hours playtime today because I was basically up all night and then I had to go off and do some stuff.
Yeah.
So
well,
I've been driving a bit.
I'm not saying that it's going to be 100% better. It might not be better at all. But I know that we did make some changes to the way that the acceleration and deceleration works. So you should notice some difference to the way that strafing feels just in general.
Before it felt very lockstep, and it sort of felt a bit hard to move at all.
Yeah.
But I'll skip the question about how to the chance of actually getting a post. Like I've been basically sitting on a bunch of ton of material. I've been gathering up because I've been taking screenshots manually because that doesn't work in game yet. So I've been sitting on a treasure trove of information. I basically haven't posted them up in the beta forums because I just figured that there's so much dross and noise to signal ratio going on the official forums right now that the chance of them actually being seen and being useful is relatively low.
They're seen.
Yeah, I mean, we look at the forums quite a bit. We don't reply to every single thread on there, but we definitely look at a lot of them. And yeah, I mean, the feedback that we get from there definitely helps us inform our decision-making process. A lot of times we don't want to just reply and say, well, we don't know what our solution is to some of these things. People are bringing up problems. And, I mean, yeah, we could just reply and say, okay, we'll look into it. But for the most part, we end up talking about it a lot and figuring out what our solution is going to be, and that's sort of our MO.
Right, and one of Radar's jobs is to read the forums and provide feedback to the dev team, too. So there's definitely...
That's right, yeah. Every day he sends us a list of several key threads that are either heated topics or have some really interesting info, just to make sure that we're paying attention to the ones that are getting the most traction. So yeah, I mean, we're reading them for sure.
Right. Just giving some hope to some others out there.
So post it up.
Yeah, I probably will have to. But cameras, like, recently I was killed in a mag rider because I couldn't look behind myself and kept running into buildings while running away from like 3 or 4 vanguards.
Yeah, rear view
mirror.
mirror.
Just have like another toggle camera you could hit. Basically, you hit T, hit it again, and it's a rear camera. Hit it again, and it's downward facing, whatever.
Yeah, like I know in Lib, when you're trying to land any aircraft, third-person camera gives you basically no view beneath yourself, and it's very difficult to tell if you're landing on a sloped surface or on another aircraft or something.
Or people.
Our plan with landing vehicles was to make it so that when, as they got lower to the ground and slower, the third-person camera panned out, sort of like, here's your plane. Actually, hold on, maybe I have a plane in here.
Nice. Props. We like props.
Yeah. I got a bunch of Star Wars toys, which make great props. All right, so here I've got my little Jedi starfighter thing, and we'll call this a whatever. It's a Reaver. So I gotta extend the X foils here. It's very important. Okay, so basically, when this thing is flying, we have a camera that's sort of back here, looking down at it, right? So you get kind of like this view on the plane, right?
Right.
Something like that. So our plan was to make it so that as you're landing it, it pulls out and away, sort of like this. So then you get a better downward view of it. Well, hold on. All right, up a little more. Yeah, somewhere like this. So now you can kind of see down a little bit, and that just happens as you're about to land, and then as you start to take off again, it sort of goes back to being like this.
Right.
So that's something that we want to do. I'm not sure exactly what the status is on that, because I know that was something Kevmo was working on at one point. I'm not sure if that ever made it up or whatever.
Yeah.
The idea of putting more just straight up camera views in there so that you can hit T and switch between a couple different views, I don't think that would be really, really challenging to do. And I can ask Kevmo about that afterwards.
Especially for landing.
Yeah, well, one of
people get crushed all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll land on people constantly with the Galaxy, but one of the things that I've noticed is not only the third person I'll switch to when I'm coming in on a hot landing or whatever, but the mini-map is also extremely useful. You can see, well, as long as you guys keep the mini-map updated, which doesn't always happen, but most of the time the mini-map is pretty useful, and as soon as you're coming in on a pad or whatever, you can see where you are on the mini-map and be able to know when to lower down.
You just gotta hope to heck that someone moves out of your way if they're standing on it.
Yeah, well, I don't worry about that too much. I mean, if you're underneath my Galaxy, it's been nice knowing you. You can respawn. You can respawn at my Galaxy as soon as I land it.
And I can get a point.
You're such a team player.
I am.
Emma. You're such a team player.
It's never my outfit mates that are underneath it. It's always somebody else who I don't know.
Get the heck out of the way or you're dead.
Yeah, I always tell them to get out of the way, or it's a Vanu or NC. That happens sometimes too, and that's always enjoyable.
Mostly NC. We like to land on them.
Yeah, that's what we prefer.
Yeah.
But
the problem with that statement is that the HUD doesn't differentiate between aircraft of various types. A Scythe and a Galaxy have the exact same shadow on the minimap.
Right. That's a good point too.
Same thing with tanks. I've seen Sunderers who look like lightnings with like vanguards. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be avoiding that and trying to flank it, or if I should be taking it head on and drive it off.
Well, that's just a bug right now. I mean, we just need to get the other indicators in on the map. That's the problem with that.
Cool.
There needs to be a different indicator for large aircraft, like a Galaxy, a different one for a Liberator, and then one for the different fighters.
Cool.
Yeah, I figured that was temporary.
Yeah.
There's always
you
a lot.
Figured right, Captain Insanio.
Boom. Get your answer right there.
Yeah, I also noticed that the most recent patch you changed the like the health layout for vehicles on the top right. You changed it to a much more assuming blocky. Like before it was like this blue outline. Now it's all solid green.
Yeah, it's easier to read now.
Yeah, I really like that change.
Good job on
it
that.
It also seems to be smaller too, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's scaled a little bit down.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know what you guys think of this. So this is another idea that we were having, which was a debate. Whether or not we wanted to have that up all the time when you are a vehicle owner. So if I hop out of my vehicle, I still have that little vehicle status window up on the corner of my screen. So I can see if my vehicle's taking damage. Vehicles deconstruct after a certain amount of time, so maybe the timer showing you how long it's going to be until the vehicle deconstruct is there. I thought that would be kind of a neat thing to do, to have that up all the time.
I like that.
Do it.
I like it maybe smaller, though. You don't want it as big as when you're in it.
Well, make it toggleable, right? So if I don't want it, I just click a little arrow and it disappears.
The whole chat is saying yes.
I think that answers it. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be awesome because I encounter that all the time. I run over and I jump in my Galaxy and I'm like, okay, everything's fine, and then I'll run out and keep doing whatever I'm doing. So I do think that would be really cool to have, and plus you can see if there's people in it, all that stuff. I really like that idea. Just make it minimizable or whatever. There may not be some vehicles like a Flash. Like really, you probably don't need it on that. That thing's gonna get blown up.
Thank you for adding the lock feature to
holy crap,
Thank you. That was like,
man,
doesn't take much to get me happy. All I want to do is lock my vehicle.
Oh wow, that was like and perfect timing on that, because we did that stream last night, and if we didn't have that feature in, we would have been hosed in our Galaxies. So
yeah,
perfect
so
timing.
Like another funny thing just about development in general is like we put that feature in, and we've immediately figured out 5 more things that we needed to do to make it work right.
Oh, really?
It's funny because like you need to be able to see, like this is all just stuff that I put on an email that I sent out that is basically like an extra week of features we need to add. But it's like I want to be able to see what my squad's Galaxy is. Like I need a waypoint to that.
Yeah.
I need a waypoint to, if it's my Galaxy, I need to be able to see, oh, that's my Galaxy, it's down over there, as opposed to the other 2 that are parked next to it.
Right.
My squad mate said that today. That was distinct colors for squads.
Or just a way to know which one's which.
Or it's locked. I walk up to the Sunderer, I want to know before I walk up to it that it's locked, Like I want to be able to see an icon over the top of it that, hey, this is locked, I can't get in there, so don't even bother fucking walking down there.
A big, huge rotating padlock above it. Okay, maybe not that much, but
right, yeah. I mean, little things like that are sort of what we have left to finish in the game right now. That and kind of bug fixing, little things that make the game a little bit more intuitive. Those are the major things that we have left.
That pretty easily with just side lights on the Sunderer. Like small, like diodes on the back or on the sides, right near the front headlights, and just have them be either green, yellow, or red.
Totally. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to be anything complicated. It just needs to be something that helps reinforce what the situation is.
And it works pretty well as it is right now. You know, I've kicked people out already, and it works. The mouse disappearing on the various menus, however, is infuriating.
Yeah, I noticed that today. That pissed me off.
Yeah, it happens. It's random too. When you're in a vehicle, it happens a lot more than if you're out. But it still can be pretty infuriating. Especially, you know, the squad leaders said, "Oh, let's go attack this point," and I'm like trying to get on my map and find this place and put a waypoint down for myself, and
it disappears.
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm clicking again." My galaxy is bouncing back and forth as I try and get my mouse to show up. That's good times. Anyway,
yeah.
Sorry, I digress. Any others there, Insanio?
Yeah, the UI when you get hit, normally it's just a single red ring. Is there a way of making it able to tell us if it's coming from above or below?
Yeah, I heard that when you first had your big list of questions. That's a piece of feedback that we've gotten a bunch. I don't know what our current idea of how to solve that is, but I want to solve it too.
Cool.
So
you and I are both
solution I've seen for it in like Armored Core is that on the HUD, if your enemy is above you, the color changes, and if the enemy is below you, it goes like yellow. So it goes a color change on the ring.
Interesting.
So
cool.
Glad to hear you've gotten that feedback. I thought it was just me being crazy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely annoying. Anybody who flies around long enough gets kind of irritated by that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.
Mission system. We haven't heard anything about the mission system for a little bit, I don't think.
We haven't.
Mission system's in progress right now. It should be coming pretty soon. I'm really excited about it. Basically, what it's going to do, I mean, you guys have heard me talk about it a lot, I think. But what it's going to do is it's going to... I think the best way for me to describe it at this point is it's sort of like a ping if you're used to playing like Dota or if you're used to playing League of Legends, something like that. Someone pings the mini-map, and it lets you know you need to pay attention over here. So you'll be able to opt into different types of pings. So if I said, I really want to know when someone needs engineers, so I have that on as my missions that I'm interested in. Then when some commander says, hey, I need engineers over here, they place basically an engineer request at a location. And anybody who's opted in to see engineer requests could see that on their map. They could see it as a beacon that shows up on the HUD. Basically just lets you know, hey, engineers are needed over here right now, and you can head over to that location and be useful as an engineer right now. So that's sort of what it's evolving into, because we wanted it to be something that could be used quickly, could be understood really quickly. Didn't feel like it was a structure with a discrete beginning and end. You know, we didn't want to make it be a mission system where a commander places a mission that says get 10 headshots here and you get a bunch of extra experience for doing it. Because that just sucks, you know?
Yeah.
But having something where it just kind of lets you know, we really need air transports over here, and if you're flying around in a galaxy, you can just see that show up on your HUD, and then say, like, oh shit, I'm going to fly over there because some people need air transport. Cool. That gives us what we need, which is extra global coordination and communication tools that are sort of seamlessly hooked into gameplay. And it doesn't have any overhead of, oh, I'm on a shitty mission and it sucks because I have to sit here and get headshots for another half an hour to get my bonus experience. Otherwise, I'm not going to get any bonus experience, you know?
That's the same thing as collecting items, ultimately. You don't want to do that either.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Nobody likes collection quests.
Wrong MMO.
I know, but it's the same thing. Like, get X amount of headshots. The same thing as collecting X amount of rat tails or, you know, whatever.
Exactly.
Or bear asses.
Bear asses.
Yeah, so the thing is, it should be really cool. It should be a really kind of transparent system that just allows you to jump in and start figuring out stuff that's what you want to do. If I want to play close air support, I'm a new player, I'm not an outfit or anything, I can just say, hey, I'm interested in close air support missions, and just see all the places where commanders on the map have said they needed some air support. And then you as a commander player, if you realize that there's no galaxies there, and you need a galaxy to be brought in really soon, you don't have to rely on just your squad to go back and bring a galaxy in. You could just put a mission down that says, hey, I need galaxies over here. And you and your squad can continue to kick ass and not have to respawn back at the sanctuary to bring a galaxy in.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Look forward to seeing that.
I'm actually really excited to see how that's going to play out.
So am I. It's going to be interesting.
That sounds a lot better than what we were hearing before and a lot less muddled. I'm really glad you explained that.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've spent a bunch of time trying to figure out the right tact to take with it, whether we wanted it to be something more rigid or whether we wanted it to be something really loose and open-ended. My philosophy always is to leave as much as possible in the hands of the players. I really want to have only the bare minimum of game mechanics be there to provide structure, and then have all of the gameplay, all of the strategy, all of the facilitation of how the game progresses be in the hands of you guys. I think that that makes it be the most sustainable, because it's constantly coming up with new ingenious ways to do things that you have to figure out new ingenious solutions to. And it's just more fun when you feel like you figured out the solution, not the game mechanic allowed you to do this thing this week and this other thing next week, you know? Just let players figure out the best solutions, and the game is way more
And that's
fun.
not PlanetSide, you know, having something to tell you what to do. It's about it's about you doing it and you making the difference.
Exactly.
Cool.
In a nutshell.
All right. Does that work through your list there, Captain?
I have one more, but the last one, it won't be coming for a long time, so I'll let it be.
Okay. All right.
Shit.
All right. So, last up we have Lunar Child joining us.
Yep.
And what do you have on your mind? What would you like to talk about or ask Matt about?
Well, I have two things. I think they're slightly bigger questions than the one Insanio had. Not quite as big as the one Vasty had. So. First one, I wanted to ask about the upgrades that are in the search tree right now. For instance, the rocket pods that annihilate people isn't necessarily a search, but some of the other certs that I have seen that are in right now literally give you extra armor, extra damage. I thought that was not going to be that much of a deal, but I see much more of them than I expected to.
Okay.
All right. So, this is kind of a in-depth answer, I think, but one of our goals has always been to try to make it so that a 5-minute player and a 5-year player are competitive. You guys have heard me say that a lot, and lots of people have said, "Hey, you know what? There's all this shit that makes me stronger, so it's not fair that I'm suddenly that a 5-minute player can't possibly compete with a 5-year player because this cert makes you stronger." The way that we want certs to work and the way that we want loadouts to work is, in general, we assume that you're going to have pretty much all the slots filled. So, as a new Reaver pilot, for instance, you're not going to have rocket pods on that thing. You're going to have a nose cannon, which is super, super powerful, and it's really useful against a lot of different things. But you're not going to have rocket pods, so no, you're not going to be at 100% of your total effectiveness until you have those slots filled. Once all the slots are filled, it's really a matter of trade-offs between them. And we're not at the point today, I will never say that we are, right now, at a point where we're balanced and where certain weapons aren't more powerful than others. We've got a long way to go before we're completely balanced on that. But the goal has always been that if I decide I'm bringing rocket pods with me, I'm trading that off for something else that I could have there. Whether that means that I'm trading it off for anti-air missiles and suddenly I'm not going to be as good against aircraft when they show up, or I'm trading it off for a speed bonus that I could get with a wing attachment, or extra fuel that I could get with a wing attachment. I mean, we don't have fuel in the game, but whatever. There's always a trade-off with the things that you bring versus the things that you don't bring. None of that works until all those slots are filled. So if you're a dude who doesn't have a secondary weapon on your vehicle, yeah, granted, you're going to be less powerful than a dude who does have a secondary weapon on the vehicle. But to me, that feels sort of like a normal progression thing. If I'm a guy who really wants to dedicate myself to flying aircraft, then I'm going to unlock those things relatively quickly. I'm going to be able to start having a fully loaded aircraft in a fairly short amount of time. But because we just let people jump into aircraft right away, you're not going to end up with a ton of people who just by default have a ton of rockets and all these other kind of like high-end, not high-end, but sort of like powerful weapons that we really want to be something that you unlock rather than something that you just have by default. So I think it's a complex problem to solve because we do want to maintain that competitive nature and make it so that a new player can always compete with an existing player. And I think that works really well right now on the infantry side. it doesn't feel like there's a lot that you're gaining access to as an infantry player that makes you significantly better against another infantry player via unlocks. But we have some disconnects in the vehicle and infantry versus vehicle gameplay, where an existing player or somebody who has a lot of unlocks is going to have some pretty strong advantages there. So those are all things that we need to balance out and try to make it be as fair as possible. And we are working on trying to make those things be as fair as possible.
Awesome.
All right.
So there.
Boom.
Boom. All right. Second question was more about the Alpha Squad that you guys just announced this week, I think. More nitpicking than anything, but it says 12 weapon unlocks, one for each class. Empire combo, while I count 18 class Empire combos.
Calculation fail.
No. It's correct because some of our classes share the same weapon types.
Right.
Okay, right.
So if you're an engineer or a light assault right now, you use a carbine.
Yep.
So that cuts down on 3,
gun.
and we don't have max weapons on there. It's just the standard infantry classes. So it's actually 12.
The light assault engineer gun's my favorite right now. I really like
carbine?
it. Yeah.
Well, we're talking about changing a lot of those weapons around. One of the things that I would like to do is make it so that the carbine is available to everybody. Every class gets access to it except for the max. And we'll see if that happens. And then those become global weapons that you just unlock. And once you unlock it and unlock different attachments for it, you would have access to that weapon and that attachment on all those classes. And then assault rifles would be something that maybe heavy assault and light assault get access to. We've talked about moving LMGs over to medics instead of on heavy assaults. So there's lots of shifting. There's lots of possibilities of weapon types shifting around to which class is going to get access to which weapons. That's something that over the next few weeks we're going to be exploring a little bit more and playing around with, trying to get the exact final. This class has access to these weapons stuff locked down.
So then instead of the LMG on the heavy assault, you would have their weapon that we haven't seen yet, their heavy assault weapon.
Yeah, they would probably have access to an assault rifle by default. Then they would have their heavy assault weapon. To me, the heavy assault weapon needs to switch out with their anti-vehicle weapon, not with their standard weapon. So you're deciding if you want to play as an anti-infantry heavy assault or an anti-vehicle heavy assault. And then you would have a standard assault rifle going along with it too.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, those are possibilities. We really like the idea potentially of moving the LMG over to the medic, so the medic can be sort of like more of a behind supporting player rather than right now with the assault rifle like he is. He's kind of more of a front lines guy, and we sort of want him to be a suppressor more than an attacker.
Right.
But he would still have access to the carbine too, which is really valuable in close range engagements. So it wouldn't be that he only had access to the LMG. But we'll see. We played around internally with switching around some of those weapons, but we haven't actually propagated any of that out to beta yet. We're still trying to get the balance exactly.
When they do it, they'll know it. People will start.
Oh yeah, people! I can already smell the rage. Sweet smell of rage. Well, actually, it's probably not very sweet smell. Rage is bad. Forum rage is the worst type of rage ever.
Dude, but it's so classy.
Classy rage.
It's so classy.
I don't believe I've ever heard. I don't believe I've ever heard it described that way as classy.
That's forum rage is the classiest rage.
I suppose.
It's not rage; it's passion. There's a difference.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It is. It is kind of. All right, Lunar, do you have anything else? No? Yes? No?
Not at this moment.
Okay, awesome. We've got a little bit of time left. I'd like to
open the
to kind of check the chat and see if anybody else has any.
This is the point where you start asking questions.
Yes.
Any questions you've asked from a minute ago, I'm not going to answer because there's so many. So start asking, and Ham and I will get them. I actually have one that I've been saving.
Okay. Fire away.
Most free-to-play games, such as League of Legends, injects new content every week or so to keep it appealing. What are your plans for content? What kind of content can we expect from you guys? I guess post-launch would be the question.
Cool.
Well, I think on a long-term basis, like every 3 to 4 months, you'll probably expect to see something like a new map or new vehicles get added. On a weekly basis, you might be able to see things like maybe new certs, maybe new weapons. But really, I don't want to be adding new weapons all the time to the game, because anytime you add a bunch of new weapons to a game, you're fundamentally changing the competitive nature. And I think typically in games that are focused on competitiveness, it's funny to say this when I'm talking about League of Legends, because League of Legends is clearly a competitive game. But generally speaking, you're going to throw some big shockwaves into a pool when you start changing stuff around a competitive game every week. It doesn't give people a real chance to learn the new balance, figure out the new gameplay if you change stuff all the time. That's why you'll see in lots of tournaments they ban a lot of the new heroes that come out for something like League of Legends or Dota or whatever. They ban new heroes because nobody fucking knows how to use them yet. Nobody knows what their advantages and disadvantages are yet. So you kind of have to not have those be available. So you'll probably end up seeing us releasing stuff on a weekly or 2 weekly basis, but we're going to do it as responsibly as we can without affecting the competitive nature of the game.
That makes sense. Throwing that stuff in there can totally mess up everything. I mean, it doesn't take much to throw everything out of whack. The balance of the universe is just destroyed.
Destroyed.
Out the window. Done with. This is probably a very quick question I saw somebody ask. Will we be able to test the camos during beta? Are you guys going to put those in?
I don't think so. I think we'll probably leave those to release. The camos are all pretty much completely, exclusively are station cache items.
Right.
So, I mean, they're purely cosmetics. I don't know that there's necessarily a good reason for us to have those unlocked.
They don't really need to test them
because
they can tell if they look good,
They either work or they don't.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the thing that we really need from beta testers is how does this balance against each other? If we release these 10 new guns, which one suddenly becomes the one that's overpowered and broken that everybody wants to use?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the stuff.
That's
the good stuff.
Will all factions have a 1 headshot kill sniper rifle? I'm guessing they're asking a bolt action, I would assume.
Bolt action? Will everybody have a bolt action rifle, essentially?
Everybody will have a bolt action rifle. Whether or not everybody's going to have a one-shot kill rifle is sort of a different question. We're not sure if we want to have even the NC have access to a one-shot kill rifle. It's cool that they do. I really enjoyed it a lot. That video. Did you see that video, the 101 sniper kills video?
Oh, no. I didn't see that one.
Oh, God. You should play that one after this segment. Just stream it right out here because it's hilarious. He's got like a cash register sound effect that goes off every cha-ching, cha-ching. He's just killing TR and BS. It's awesome. Nice. Really good. But yeah, I'm not sure how much fun. It's really interesting. The sniper rifles create this cool divide because there's so many people who are like, "Oh, it's bullshit. The NC sniper rifle's so good," and then all the NC people are like, "Dude,
this is horrible.
The NC sniper rifle sucks.
Yeah.
It just sucks to get kills with. If you don't get a headshot with it, you don't get a kill."
I played them all, and I personally like them all. I can't choose from my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, they all have their advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah.
So with all of our other weapons, and sniper rifles included, our goal is to kind of create the Venn diagram, right? I've shown you guys this before. The old Venn diagram, where if these are our weapons, and we have TR and NC weapons, and BS weapons, they all have their own little unique aspect to them, right? But they also have a lot of areas where they can bleed into each other.
Yep.
They could start off maybe like right here in the middle, and then the TR can move further this way. The other guys can't. But everybody can kind of encroach a little bit onto the TR's fast firing and low damage stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan with the way that we're doing weapons. I think it works really well. It'll still allow us to have uniqueness. Nobody will ever be able to hit as hard per bullet as the NC do. But you'll be able to sort of get that harder hitting, slower firing rate rifle as the other Empires too. Just never quite as far to the extreme as the NC can get.
Right. Awesome. Cool.
I'm not going to ask the Skyguard question because I know that they know that it's an issue.
Okay.
Just so you know, I'm not ignoring you.
So one of the ones that I just saw scroll past that constantly comes past is when are we going to see the heavy assault weapons? Now I saw them in the store, so you guys have them there now. But when are we going to start seeing those heavy assault weapons start showing up?
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on, let me get Josh.
Uh-oh. Nice.
They're in the store. That's promising.
Yeah, going straight to the source on that one. I can hear him calling for him right there. Hey, come in here. We've got questions for you. Yep.
Hamma, next time we should just tell them to have those people ready in the room already.
Yeah, just have the whole room full of everyone so that we can just call upon them. Be like, I can just point at somebody, you know, sitting on a chair and be like, you, I've got this question for you. Right?
All right, here's Josh. Josh knows the answer. Josh knows all the infantry weapon questions.
Is there actually a camera?
Yeah, there's a
yes.
Camera. You're on the internet.
He's like, I better put like my shoes on. We can't see your feet, dude, so it doesn't matter.
No pressure, no pressure.
You look like a ragamuffin.
Millions of viewers.
Millions, I don't know about millions.
324.
Yeah, so...
yeah, with a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Right?
So when will we start seeing those heavy assault weapons start showing up in the game?
The heavy weapons we're trying to get, probably, it's going to be a few weeks from now. We still have mainly animation things that are holding them up. So we're trying to focus on getting our current weapons to a solid state, and then we're going to focus on getting the heavy weapons. So a couple weeks.
Okay.
And yeah, we do want to get them in soon because we know, you know, once we're getting in beta, it's really just that's first pass of tuning. So there's going to be a lot of feedback on how we do it, and then we'll adjust from there.
I can't wait to hear the sound effect for the TR chain gun. That was one of my favorite ones in the original, so... Shaking said yes.
Everybody has access to carbines.
Everyone has access to carbines? I want to keep fine-tuning the current weapons we have, get them good with all the classes, and then expand out from there. So I don't really have a date for that at this time.
Cool. Anybody have any random weapon questions? Go ahead, Basti.
Yes, does the Lasher fire disco balls of doom?
No, it actually uses noodles. It looks like ramen noodles that it fires. And they are pink. Pink noodles.
Nice.
Like a Play-Doh gun.
I approve.
It's full of consistency.
Alright, so we won't have the flyby lash in effect, but we will have like the land and the other stuff that is, you know, Lasher unique. I guess, I mean, the Lasher was the flyby was the biggest feature of that, right?
Plus it was whack.
It was whack.
It was pretty whack. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mechanic is being played with a little bit right now. We're not really a fan of the flyby, so we're pulling that one and adding a few you know, new things to replace that.
Like what?
Like what? Mainly it's like what? So
it's like crap. I gotta come up with
an
idea right now.
I mean, we know the general idea. It's just we want to play with it in the game and see how it plays. I mean, the biggest feature is it's going to be really the only, like, you know, suppressive heavy weapon that actually does AoE damage. That's what we're playing around with right now.
Cool.
Am I out of the camera?
No, you're pretty much on.
On the camera. I think you're in.
It's on the side of your head.
I don't see too many questions on.
No
I
weapons?
mean, there's so many like questions.
Wow, I'm not asking that one.
They were asking about one shot, one kill.
Someone's asking about NC maxes restrict to short range, so we are going to add different ammo types for.
Josh will just take questions.
No, that's cool. Go ahead. Absolutely.
So I'm just reading questions. So we are going to add different ammo types, you know, slug ammo, stuff like that, to give them more range. And then we're also going to have different shotgun types, different ones that have, you know, one's better mid-range, one's better really heavy, but only good at short range, stuff like that. So you might want to take like a mid-range shotgun on one arm and a long short range on the other arm.
I was playing today, and I used that velocity ammo.
Nope, looks like we just lost him.
He's gone, man.
He's gone, man.
He'll come back.
We lost him. Wow, he just like locked up. He's like, yeah, I was doing this, and all of a sudden there was no more Matt.
We got disconnected from the hangout, you guys.
Oh, there you are. You're back again. I figured that's what happened. It happens sometimes.
My Chrome said, "Aw, snap."
Oh, really? Snap. You got the "aw, snap" error. Nice.
Got the "aw, snap" screen.
That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, so right now we have all these different ammo types in that are eventually going to be certifications, right? It's certifying these different ammos.
Yes, they're different attachment types. They go in there will be a slot. I actually don't know if that made it to beta yet, but there will be. You'll see on the UI there'll be a slot for ammo, and the general breakdown is, you know, you're going to have a long range ammo, which is velocity, or short range or mid range, so you can modify, you like really buff your weapon in one stat, one range, basically.
Mm-hmm. But the funny thing is, like, all those items are all in right now. They're on beta. Nobody has access to them unless you have a GM client. You've given yourself access to everything, like some people on the team have. Right? So, like, I was running around and I was like, oh, cool, velocity ammo. I'm going to try this out. And velocity ammo just one-shot kills everything right now.
Yeah, that's a bug right now.
So I was running around with an LMG today, just fucking killing all kinds of stuff. I blew up a galaxy, like, from 500 meters away with one shot. Like, guys were attacking the base, and I was like, oh, man, this velocity ammo is great. This ammo is awesome.
Leave it the way it is.
Yeah, no, I think we should. Yeah.
The I win button. I saw somebody ask if heavy weapons you'll be able to aim down the sights. Will you be able to do that, or is it going to be hip fired the whole time?
We will have an aim mode, but it's not going to use iron sights.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to adjust the weapon here and zoom you in the same just as our current iron sights do.
Okay.
But you're not actually going to line up and shrink your cone of fire and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for fine point aiming.
Somebody asked earlier about strafe speed again.
Strafe speed.
What was the question?
The issue is that if you're running it at sprint and you get shot from the side, normally what you want to do is be able to turn your head and see what's shooting at you, so you can know how to respond. If you can't do that, normally when you're moving in sprint, your strafe speed is increased as well. And normally, I mean, PSS is right now, strafe speed is not increased when you sprint, which creates some very nasty situations. Like if you're trying to go upstairs and you want to cover the banister, you can't unless you will go at normal box speed, which is not normally what you want if you're trying to get to a cap point.
Spoiler alert for you, that's actually Princess Leia with a thermal detonator, so if you don't pay the ransom, they're going to blow us all up.
Exactly.
I didn't hear that last part about the railing. What was the problem there?
Hold on. Am I too far from my mic?
No, I think it's the helmet.
You need a helmet-mounted mic from here on out. That's what we require.
All right, fine.
There we go.
The problem with strafing is that when you're sprinting, the speed doesn't increase. Like, say if you want to go upstairs, you want to sprint to, like, say, a control point, it's just up the stairwell. You want to be able to cover the banister while you're still doing it, because no sane enemy is going to wait for the top of the stairs. They're going to be waiting for you, so your back's turned to them. Right now, because strafe speed doesn't increase, you can't necessarily turn your head while strafing. You have to either strafe in a single direction, or you can't, or you have to just go at normal speeds. Check your angles.
So, I'm not sure I'm really understanding the problem. I probably have to see it. So it sounds to me like you want to be able to strafe and not have a penalty to basically anything, right?
Well, I think what he was saying earlier was that he wants to be able to strafe to, like, look at a target that's over there and not lose his speed when he's sprinting. Because we don't increase your strafe speed at all when you sprint. So he was saying that if he tries to sprint and then strafe to, like, look at somebody while he's strafing,
you immediately slow down.
Velocity.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't be happening. If that's happening, that's actually a bug. That should not be happening. I can look into that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're strafing and when you're sprinting and you hit strafe, you should be going forward at the same speed.
Yeah, he's saying that most of the time you would have, in most games when you're sprinting, the strafe speed speeds up too.
I can look into that. I mean, we have variables that we can tune all that. I can look into the speeds. I don't really have an answer for that right now because I'm just gonna jump in game and really play with that and see how it feels.
Cool. All right. But if you're sprinting, basically, strafe speed doesn't change whether you're sprinting or not. And it really needs
right now, we actually decrease your strafe speed while you're sprinting.
Okay.
We do that right now because there is penalties for sprinting. And the main reason we do that is because people are sprinting, running around, and they have the same strafe speed and all that. It creates a problem where you can't hit people. I mean, we used to not have the penalty, and you'll see people just go and instantly cut right, and as someone trying to hit people at distance, it's pretty much impossible.
They can juke too easily.
Yeah.
If they combine those.
Then you have the old school PlanetSide issue of people strafing constantly. We don't need that. We don't need that back. Please don't bring that back. That would be bad. Nobody likes that.
Strafe speed while not sprinting feels pretty solid in game right now. I do like that speed.
Cool.
But
all right.
While sprinting, it just feels like I'm constantly on rails. If I'm being shot, I have to either stop and look, or I have to keep going and pray that I can get behind cover fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our current sprint right now is tuned for getting from cover to cover. Yeah, that's the kind of gameplay we were going for. But we do have a big open world, so we did all this testing on these tight bases, and now we're seeing how players play with that. So we are adjusting based on feedback and all that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So yeah, if Strafe Feed ends up being a widespread problem, it's something we can look at.
All right. Okay, so
I see. Well, are we done with the questions?
Well, I was just going to say we're a little past what we were going to end at. It's up to you guys if you want to answer a couple more questions or if you want to.
This is their Saturday. I know you.
Yeah, this is
you're all working.
You make the call. You want to answer a couple more questions?
You can answer more questions.
Okay, we'll do a few more. We'll do
He's
a few
like,
more.
okay, I'm leaving.
And off he goes. He's going to go to the bathroom or whatever and just leave him there on the spot. All right, well, weapon-related questions. That's what we need now. He bailed out, huh?
Yeah, he's back.
He has returned.
This one question is actually engine-related. So it's asking if the current engine can support... There's two questions, but it's the same. If the current engine can support larger maps, and if that's a possibility in the future.
Yes and yes.
Well, there you go. That was an easy one. But it was asked quite a few times.
Yeah.
Well, then yes and yes. Yes and yes, yes and yes, yes and yes, yes and yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
On that question, just how big will SMA be? On the one screenshot we saw, it didn't look like 8 times 8. It looked different.
It's the same size as Inner.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is there any water there? I'm just kidding.
There's lots of it. It's all frozen.
Yes.
What about Amarish?
Amarish?
Soon.
Amarish.
Yeah. Amarish is the same size too. There's water in Amarish too.
There's water in Amarish.
It's also frozen.
It's frozen.
Well, Black could have cut his hair by then, but no.
Nice.
Oh.
I got a random thing that came up and asked if we were still here. Me clicking back and forth between all the different views apparently does not indicate that I am still here. Thank you, Google.
People are crazy about those skins.
All right, let's see. Any others?
More weapon questions, or can I go?
He's like, get me out of here.
Quit screwing around. What are you working on right now? Tell them what you're up to here on Saturday night at 7 o'clock.
All right, so what I'm doing right now is working on getting a few of the searching, getting specifically the heal tool and repair tool, and some of the ability stuff. That's today. Tomorrow I'm gonna end up doing a lot of planning stuff and boring stuff. And I saw someone ask a question about cone of fire, and that's the other big thing I'm working on is adjusting horizontal recoil a little bit and tightening up the cone of fire.
So we got the changes for recoil.
Yeah,
like a week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe, we got some new changes to make recoil cooler. You've been kind of adjusting cone of fire to match that shit for a while, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
did the VS weapons actually get buffed already?
Not yet. That's part of the whole weapon stuff I'm working on right now.
Cool.
We're trying to actually. I know Matt wants me to get like a hotfix patch that we can get out just to tweak all the weapons.
Yeah. I'm sick of all the Vonu people whining. They're sad purple tears.
To be fair, we have lowest pop and we're still winning.
I don't know about that.
Winning?
We are winning. We have the underpowered weapons. We have lowest pop and we are still winning.
Not on my server, you're not.
I got a question about Alpha Squad. Will the Alpha Squad 10% bonus take up a boost slot?
Thank you, Josh.
Yes, it takes up a boost slot.
Okay. Will it be stackable with other implants?
Boosts have a
separate,
a dedicated slot. So you have one dedicated boost slot.
Only one thing can be in there, right?
Right.
That's right.
So that answers that.
So you get yourself a boost that lasts 6 months.
Right.
By buying the Alpha Squad.
And you can use it at any time.
Awesome deal.
Yeah.
Or does it? Okay.
Essentially.
Say what?
Go ahead.
You can use it at any time. You can equip it at any time.
Absolutely, yeah. And the way that the Alpha Squad bonuses work, too, just so you guys know, is it's on your account level. So when you create a new character on that account, if you want to go play on a different server, you're going to get those items on there, too, including the camo, the boost, the weapons, all that stuff. So that's why when you get NC, TR, and VS weapons. I mean, if you create a VS character, you'll get the VS weapons. If you create a TR character, you'll get the TR weapons. So
it's a pretty good deal, I think.
I can't even describe to you what an awesome deal the Alpha Squad thing was. We weren't trying to be like, let's figure out how to make this, how to give the least amount of stuff for the most amount of money or anything. We were like, what would we want to have in a starter pack that gives the most amount of value, that gives you just really killer things to really help you get a leg up when you're first starting out playing the game. And for us, it was weapons, get some cool decals, have some kind of boost that gives you some bonus experience for while you're playing as a new character or as a new player. And then we give you the same amount in station cash as it costs to buy the thing.
Yeah.
So it's, even if you already have a beta account, I mean, it's a no-brainer of a value, I think. I'm really happy about the way that we set up the Alpha Squad thing. I'm really proud of it.
You're dark. Yeah, well, it's one of the things that we know. That's one of the things I noticed right away is you're essentially buying station cash. Everything else that's on it is free, essentially, because the cost is a station cash. So.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that was really intentional. We wanted to do that. My computer's just like screwing up left and right here.
Nice. Well, you're lit up anyway.
My graphics driver crashed. It's it.
And we can still see you, so it can't be that bad. Whatever happened, Windows didn't kill itself yet. Soon the blue screen will come, and then you'll disappear.
Chrome crashed my graphics driver.
Nice.
So,
awesome. All right.
I only need to kill Chrome, which means I'm killing the Hangout.
Right.
Which means I'm killing the show.
Which means he's out of here, folks. Quick. Anybody else? One more?
There's so many questions I couldn't answer them all.
You have one quick one, maybe? Quick question? On the spot. I got Jen on the spot. I got Higby on the spot. I got everybody on the spot.
Any chance in removing friendly fire?
No. Can I answer that one?
I just thought that was a funny question.
Yeah, no.
I think I saw one about logistics at spin by.
Like adding more things that require logistics? Like.
Yeah, I think so. There's one about that.
Yeah, I see that talked about. It's kind of a wide
Idle
open.
kick timers for AFKers.
Oh, that's coming. I don't know.
That is coming.
I can answer that one too. There's no question.
Oh, character wipe anytime soon.
Oh, that's a good question.
Character wipe.
That's a good question.
Character wipe probably before, not next week's patch, but the patch after that. I think we'll probably have a character wipe.
Oh, man.
I think. I'm not 100% sure. When we add on certain certifications, they're going to require character records to be removed. So at some point, once we decide we need to pull the trigger and get those certs online, there's going to be a character wipe coming.
Yep.
So, yep.
Understandable.
Be prepared.
I've got one, and I'll let mine wrap it up because it's my show, right? That's how I roll.
You do one.
So one of the things that I've noticed that you guys have started putting in the handling upgrades and stuff like that for the various aircraft, and one of the things that kind of is a bummer is that he left. I hope he's still listening.
Here.
I'm just kidding.
I'm here.
I know he's listening. One of the things that I've noticed is that so if I want to upgrade my Galaxy top speed, then I have to decide whether or not I have to decide whether I want to stop fast or whether I want to go fast. Are there any thoughts on making it so that you can use two of those together rather than just one? Because right now it kind of stinks because then I put all my points into stopping and going fast and then realize that I can only equip one of those at a time. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I mean we want it to be a trade-off rather than a net power gain. So I mean we could just make those be traits and you would just get more and more strong as you unlocked all of them. But really I think it ends up working better when you're deciding which one is more important to you right now. Mm-hmm. For ground vehicles, for instance, you can swap out different types of armor. If I want front armor or top armor. Sometimes you're caught in a situation where somebody's shooting you from behind and you put the front armor on and it's not helping you at all. But you put yourself into that situation too. So tactically, you're trying to figure out how do I use the upgrades that I've brought with me to the fullest advantage. And all that just kind of reinforces you being a smart player. So I'm not saying that you're not a smart player, Hamma. I'm just saying that.
Oh.
He just wants to be able to go fast and
I just want
to
be able to go fast and stop fast. I don't even care if I turn fast.
No, you want the Galaxy back to like 360 mile an hour speeds.
I knew that was going away when I was getting that Galaxy up to almost 400k, man. That was not sticking around, but it was awesome while it was there.
Slingshotting it around.
Yeah, I mean that thing, you could get that thing going crazy. Ludicrous speed, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we fixed that.
I knew that was going. So as soon as I saw that happening, I was like, yeah, guys, don't get used to this at all, because this isn't going to stay this way.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess long story short, we want to make those things be trade-offs. We want them to be valuable trade-offs. We don't want it to ever be something where you feel like you're trading off one thing that's useless for another thing that's useless. We want them to feel like they're good, valuable trade-offs. And to me, the end solution would be if those two things, fast acceleration and fast deceleration, they just go really well together, and it seems like if you don't have one, the other one's useless. Then maybe we combine those two together and we say that you're trading off acceleration and deceleration speed for top speed or whatever. Like putting things together like that make more logical trade-offs is better to me than removing the trade-off.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Sweet. Well,
we tried to get all your questions, guys.
Thank you for sticking around later than we had planned to. As always, lots and lots and lots and lots of questions come up, and it always takes longer than expected, but we're still coming in under 2 hours, so that's good, I guess. Yes. But anyway, thank you again for coming on the show. It was awesome having you back again.
Yep. Thanks to the Devil Dogs for providing my wardrobe.
Nice.
It's on here, planetside-devildogs.com. I guess you can go there to sign up if you want to have a kick-ass time beating ass with the NC. No. 666 Devil Dogs. Those are the sponsor of today's t-shirt.
Awesome. Cool. We've got to get you a t-shirt out there so that you wear a TR t-shirt for a little while.
I will.
We got to get you one. We just had some really sweet ones made for our outfit meetup that we're having next week. We're out of here. We're going to be on vacation, meeting up with our outfit. So that's going to be awesome time. Rally 2012. Dragon Wolf's right here. But we're looking forward to that. I guess next time we'll have you on, we'll probably be at SOE Live, I would imagine at this point. Probably won't have you on next.
See you there, man. Enjoy your little break.
We'll be there, me and Jen. I don't know about anybody
Captain
else.
Insanio, are you bringing the hat? Bringing the hat to SOE Live?
No?
Damn it, it's a bad time for me.
Basti! Oh, wait, no, we know you're not going to be there. It's a little too far to fly, right?
Sent me a few $1,000.
Oh, okay.
I will be there.
I'll get right on that. The CDL or PSU has an unlimited budget, so I will send you that money immediately.
We'll crowdsource it.
Yeah, right. We'll do a Kickstarter.
Yeah, do a Kickstarter.
Our PlanetSide needs to do a funding drive to get Basti to go to SOE Live.
Yeah, indeed.
And remember, everybody, we've got that 10% discount.
We've got the 10% discount for SOE Live coming up. So if you were on the fence,
too late.
You want to save 10%. There'll be more news at PSU coming on that soon. We don't have it in place yet, but yes, indeed, meet Matt and T-Ray, and I'm sure
Perfect Storm.
Yep, indeed, I'm sure many devs are going to be at SOE Live. So, all right, well, again, thanks for coming on. I'll go ahead and mute you guys out while I finish out the show. But again, thanks for being on, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, Matt.
You bet. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Of course. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Access Global Network tonight.
I got to do a shout-out.
Oh, go ahead. Absolutely.
Shout-out to your mom, Hamma's mom.
Always shout-out to my mom.
I always shout-out to her.
Word to my moms.
And 3-2-1 said shout-out to your mom as well.
Nice. I don't want to know why he's saying that.
You don't want to know what he said afterwards.
Oh, I'm sure I can only imagine what he said afterwards. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It was a very successful show here tonight. We got a lot of questions answered. This will be up on YouTube. So be sure to follow our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/PSU Media. The recording will be up there. I'll try and get some timestamps in it so that you guys can jump around the recording a little bit. So definitely check that out. Let me see if I have any special notes here before I just cut it off without saying what I need to say. Oh, yeah. So follow us on the various social media sources so that you never miss any PlanetSide 2 news. If you follow any one of those, you will never miss anything that's going on. Facebook, we have facebook.com/planetside.universe. And be sure to hit the follow button on our TwitchTV channel right here so that you never miss when we come online. We will be doing a live broadcast from SOE Live in some form or fashion. I'm sure we'll have a variety of community members and devs and all sorts of crazy stuff going on out from Vegas. That's coming up a little over a month from now, so not too long. So definitely be sure to tune into that. And, of course, if you follow this channel, when we do some live streams occasionally, we won't be doing those quite as much as we did originally, but we will be still doing those, so be sure to follow us so that you don't ever miss any of that stuff. And I think that about covers everything that I wanted to cover. Again, 10% discount on SOE Live is coming up very soon here. Keep an eye on PlanetSide-universe.com for more information on that. It'll also be able to apply it if you've already registered at SOE Live and you're a member of PlanetSide Universe. We'll be able to collect your information and get you a 10% refund on your SOE Live purchase. So be sure to check that out. And I think that about wraps it up for us. Do you have any additional comments, questions, concerns,
I look forward
flames?
to seeing all of you on the battlefield, whether it be as friend or foe. If you're foe, watch out for my kill streaks.
Yeah, watch out for her, man. She's hardcore. You don't have to worry about me. I'm just flying the galaxy. You just got to watch out for me to land on you. That's all you got to worry about with me. But anyway, thanks again for tuning in, guys. It was a great broadcast tonight. Special thanks to Matt Higby, SOE, for letting us do these shows. They're always a blast. And be sure to check out the recording on YouTube if you missed the rest of the show. In the meantime, you guys have an awesome night, and we'll catch you on the next Araxis Global Network. Good night, everyone.